All right, so it's been kind of quiet on 4Runner modifications, but we're back to do something else to this thing, and teamed up with LASFIT, the lighting company, to get some 3-inch pods, do an install, overall initial review, and also I'm gonna do a longevity review on these lights, see how they hold up with the weather, things like that, things of that nature. So in this video, we're gonna do an install video. Basically, like I said, they sent me a kit and it includes 2 of the pods. And that's the style right there. We went with the white ones. And it has the mounting brackets for the lights, the cables. And this is a complete install kit for a 4Runner. So it actually comes with, what should be in here is the hood brackets. So 2 hood brackets, and then we have the wiring harness kit. So this is a complete kit. Between the hood brackets, the lights, and the harness, it's pretty much plug and play at that point. You only got to remove a couple bolts, which is going to be the hood bolts, but we'll go over that as we continue. But I'll pull everything out of the box so I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so this is all the packages, unboxed, everything out of it. So I'll go over everything real quick. So these are actually the brackets to mount the lights to the hood area. What's nice about this is they're powder coated, they look good, heavy duty, and they're even labeled with the D and a P, which is driver and passenger side. Then we got the actual harness, which is a pre-built harness. This has everything. It has the relay, has your wires to go to your battery, and then your on and off switch, which is super nice. 3M tape on the back so you can mount it wherever you need to. And then, as I said before, there is the mounting brackets for the lights. And the lights, they feel solid. I mean, it's a nice construction, seem well built. Clean overall. And then the nuts and bolts, and of course the Allen wrenches to put them together. So really the only tool you'll need to install this is going to be a 12mm socket and a wrench, and a ratchet. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump in and install the lights, the brackets, and then from there we will go ahead and jump into the wiring portion and how we're going to run the wiring for this thing. All right, so as I said, the only 2 things you got to remove are these 2 bolts right here, 12mm, and you don't want to remove them both at the same time because there is adjustment with these, and that's what lines up your hood with the sides and also the front when it closes. So the way we're going to do is we're going to do it one at a time. We're going to start with the top. We'll take that one off. We'll put the top bolt in, move it out of the way a little bit. We'll snug up the top bolt, and then we'll go ahead and do the bottom one. So once we get the first bracket on, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so here's the first one installed. Super simple. So that's probably the best way to do it. Really easy. The hood didn't even move at all. And like I said, we did the top first and then swung it down to the bottom after we had the top bolt in with the bracket in. Passenger side is the same way. The only difference is you have your washer sprayer line that you'll need to move out of the way. It just clips in here. And then you can clip it right back in when you're done. Same thing though, came out really well, no movement. So now we're gonna move on to bolt in the frames for the 3-inch lights on top of the brackets. Doesn't really make sense to assemble everything and then try and maneuver the nut on top of it or the bottom of it. So we'll put them together and we'll see what it looks like and see what the best way to move forward next is. All right, so when you're installing the light brackets, if you have bigger hands, it's easier to close the hood, honestly. If you have smaller hands like my wife, it's easier to open the hood because then you can work around a little more. But you see, it's gonna be the bracket, the bolt, and then you have a washer, and then underneath that you have a lock washer. And then you just go ahead and tighten these up, and then you can go ahead and install your lights. All right, so here's the brackets done and locked in. The nice thing is when you tighten up the bolt on the bottom, it actually secures the top of the head right here. So it's pretty easy to tie down, you don't need to. But both came out well. So now we're gonna move into mounting the actual lights, and then we'll jump into wiring. All right, for the 3-inch pods, when you're putting the bolts on each side, you're actually going to do the little screw, the washer, a lock washer, and then the bracket. And on the inside of the bracket, you're going to have this last washer, and then you'll tighten them down. All right, we have both lights mounted on, and we did it just the way we told you. It was a lot easier doing it this way, in my opinion, putting the bracket on first and then mounting the light after. And then from here, we're gonna move on to the wiring, which we've already put the actual light cables in. We'll tuck them down. That way it's nice and clean, but the wiring that it comes with is extremely long. So we'll go ahead and lift it up and I'll show you. You're gonna need zip ties or something else to clip these back. So there's one side plugged in, and then you have a whole nother loom over here, which I've already twist tied up, and they're plugged in. But as you can see, just tons of wiring. So next we're just gonna go ahead and install these two, the positive and negative battery cables, and then we'll put the relay back in. We'll need to ground the relay somewhere, or mount the relay somewhere. And then from there, we'll look inside the firewall and see if we can run the switch to it. All right, so for wiring, it's pretty self-explanatory. You have your positive, your negative, and then your relay, which you need to mount somewhere. And then you have to tuck away all the excess wiring. There's a lot of wiring because this is pretty much a universal kit to install on pretty much any vehicle, because the only real thing you're hooking up is the lights, the batteries, and the relay. So this can pretty much work on any vehicle. As far as mounting it, I have my flashlight out. There's actually a grommet down there, a rubber grommet you can pull, and you can route it inside there, which is what I did. And it keeps it relatively clean. You're not trying to shove wires in between your fender walls and stuff. And then the switch is mounted right there, because we had two blanks right there. So open space, easy to mount. So now we're gonna go ahead, plug the relay in, and then clean up the wiring, zip tie it to the back harness, and then test the lights and see how they look. All right, so to wrap up, you need a 12mm with a ratchet. I'd recommend a flashlight when you're putting the cable for the switch, and a 14mm, and that's actually to tighten up the bottom nut of these. So wiring's complete. They're actually on, and it's daytime, so you're seeing the lights on with daytime. These are the 18-watt lights, but they look really good. We have them angled outwards because, if you know, the Toyota headlights and the fog lights are super bright on these things. So this is more for that side visibility when you're heading down a trail and you want that visibility on the side. And these are actually the spot ones. I didn't want the floods or anything like that. I specifically wanted the spotlights. So this is the finished product. I think it looks great. There's both of them on there. As far as LASFIT, the equipment is great. So solid construction, solid brackets, solid hood mounts, no chips, dings, dents, nothing. Very well packed when they sent it out. Wiring harness is complete. There's nothing else you have to add to it besides some zip ties. All the way down to the switch, super easy to install. So 10 for 10 for LASFIT on this whole lighting kit right here. I do want to see how they wear. You know how it is when you have stuff that's painted black. It fades rather quick usually, and we're in the Texas sun. So we'll see how that works out. But overall construction, installation, everything, very, very simple and very well put together. So no complaints in that department. Like I said, they look great too, and the design is really good. So if you see right here, here's the bracket that comes up. It's custom made for the 4Runner, and I'll go ahead and put the hood up so you can see what the clearance is, because it looks like it's going to be super close, but then it's perfect design. You can open your hood, no issues. Doesn't hit the wipers, doesn't hit the windshield, none of that. So very good design, and overall I love it so far. So like I said, hands down, very happy with this. Typically I don't add stickers or brands to the car, you know, and do all that stuff, but since LASFIT did partner with us, and work with us on this, I am going to add the black sticker to the back windshield. So thanks again to LASFIT. I'll leave a link down below on where to purchase these. And like I said, if you want to know more about these lights, I will do updates. Probably I'll do this. This is the initial review. I'll do a 3-month update, 6-month update, and a 1-year update, because that gives it all seasons. You'll be able to see if there's any fade on it. You'll be able to see if anything's rusting on it. You'll get the whole 9. You'll see if any of them burned out. So you'll get a long-term review on these. If you have any questions, drop it below. But as I said, very happy.